In recent times, there have been rich nations having a big prosperity, but for having a switch of government, economic problems, or any other motive, they saw fall down quickly their prosperity until turning in a devastated place. Let's see rich countries that have become poor countries. Cuba was one of the richest countries in the middle of the 20th century, surpassing in wealth to other countries like Spain, Italy, or Japan. After the Communist Revolution, the country was ruined in record time. It was desolate for many decades. Haiti was one of the places with most prosperity of America when it was part of France in the 19th century. After murdering the French people, they have become independent, and now the place is more than 2 centuries as the poorest state in America and one of the poorest in the world. Latvia was one of the richest countries on the earth at the beginning of the 20th century, even surpassing the wealth of top nations like Finland. After being conquered by the Soviet Union, the economy fell into downfall. After being independent of the USSR in 1991, the economy was better after almost 100 years. Nauru was one of the richest countries in the world during the 20th century. Thanks to its extraction and exploitation of phosphates, they were rich. The Nauru citizens squandered their money and they began to neglect their diet, and the place was ruined with the highest proportion of obese people in the world. Venezuela was one of the richest countries of America during all the 20th century. Due to its oil exploitation, every Venezuelan has $16,000 under their feet, but in the recent years, with the arriving of Marxist revolution, the country went bankrupt, desolated, full of hunger and insecurity. Zimbabwe was one of the richest countries of Africa and of the world during the 20th century. When it was under the control of British people, it was known as Rhodesia. When they began killing the British and kicked them out, the place was desolated until becoming in record time in the poorest country in the world and with the lowest index human development on the earth. Afghanistan was one of the most developed countries during the 20th century. After the Soviet invasion and the subsequent Taliban Islamic radicalization, the economy of the country went downfall. Now it's one of the worst countries to live. Beyond that joke about Argentines committing suicide by jumping from the top of their bride, at the end of the 19th century, Argentina was positioned as one of the best countries to immigrate and fulfill the American dream. The immigrants of that time said that it was exactly the same thing to go to New York in the United States or to Buenos Aires, Argentina. The grand majority of our parents or our grandparents raised us telling us stories about their ancestors, coming from Italy, France, Spain, etc., because this was a land where they would find peace, employment, opportunities, religious freedom, and successful future to the family. In those years of opulence, Argentina was in an elite of 5 countries of privileged position. In the 1930s, was the 5th richest country in the world. The Madison historical statistics, as others studied of prominent economists, have shown that by analyzing the GDP records, in 1995 and 1996, Argentina wasn't one of the richest countries in the world, if not the first, on the top. Argentina had the GDP higher than the United States, United Kingdom, Belgium, Australia. It is for this that the dictionaries of those times defined the word Argentina as a prosperous country that is destined to rival with the United States. In those times, in all South America, there was a sign that said, "Being rich like Argentine." The Argentine state gave lands to immigrants so they could work in it, generating wealth. The market was totally free, the taxes was low, the inflation didn't exist, the state allowed imports and exports. All this was largely due to the constitution written by Juan Bautista Alberdi. But anyone imagined that the glory of the Argentine economy would fall on the floor. In 1940, socialism came to power with a coup d'etat and General Juan Domingo Perón was positioned as president. He put many regulations on trade, create new taxes and increase those that already exist, increase public spending disproportionately, didn't incentivize investment, expropriated companies, punished the private sector. Through 80 years, the Argentine economy has gone punished by governments that come to power and implement their economic models, changing the model of the previous government. Socialist governments against capitalist government, Keynesian against medians, liberals against populists, governments of left against government of right. With an unclear economic model, Argentina went from being the 5th richest country in the world to being number 60 and is on its way to being number 70. Argentina has already gone through 4 crises in the past due to huge deficit fiscal of public spending, and currently they are going towards another crisis. 120 years of their best days, Argentina became in a poor country, desolate and sad. Don't cry for me, Argentina. Now I will cry for you. Look what a surprise. That is ironic. You were the richest, now you're the poorest.